Hi, everyone. I'm Phil Slanina, and I'd like to begin by apologizing. I'll be unable to attend open house in person today over Zoom. The reason for that is I'm currently taking classes at Cleveland State University in order to obtain my licensure to teach College Credit Plus courses in the future. Of course, my first class for the semester is tonight from 6 to 8:50. It is a 3-hour Zoom class, so please do think of me. I will be sitting for 3 hours listening to a Zoom lecture. So I definitely will know what the students will start to go through when we begin our online Zoom courses on September 1st. So if you do have any questions for me, or if you'd like me to expand on any of the information in the presentation, in the description of this video, my email address is listed there. Please, by all means, send me an email and we can discuss anything that you may have questions or would like some further clarification. First thing I'd like to begin with is the materials drop off that is occurring, or the materials pickup, I should say. When you do pick up the bag, just so you're aware, there will not be any materials from AP Literature in that bag. The reason for that is at the end of last school year in May, we conducted a few Zoom meetings with prospective AP Literature students, and we went over the summer assignment, we went over the reading lists for the courses, and presented the information there. If you're watching this presentation and you're saying, I'm not too sure about that, or someone added the course late and maybe was not given that information, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. We can discuss that. As far as the summer assignment goes, the students should have read or should be finishing two works, Hamlet and The Kite Runner. And then also there's a third work involved, which they do not need to read the entire work. It is How to Read Literature Like a Professor. And the students will be using that in the course of the semester almost as a literary criticism support guide to see how people write and read and discuss about literature and some of the facets of literature. One of the other texts that we asked the students to obtain over the summer is a poetry textbook. So those four works will essentially comprise the first quarter. We'll work with poetry, we'll work with Hamlet, we'll work with The Kite Runner, and then How to Read Literature Like a Professor will support those three works. So again, if you have any questions about that, please do let me know. Then on the first day of class on September 1st, I'll provide the students with a link to the remaining texts that we'll read for the course. And just a quick rundown for you of those. We will also be reading in the class. We're going to read Beloved by Toni Morrison, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce, and The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. Those will be some of the works that we'll read at the end of the first quarter and then through the second quarter with our class. And what we do ask the students, to purchase those texts. Now, again, we always recommend purchasing used books. And I understand that during the current situation with this pandemic, there may be a little bit of trepidation in ordering things off of Amazon and having books come in. So please, again, contact me. Let me know. This year, I'm going to be extremely flexible with how we use our texts and our resources because I do understand what we have going on. The reason, again, we suggest purchasing the books, one, you can get them extremely cheap on Amazon. A new book that you might pay $15 to $20 for, you can essentially get it for $3 with free shipping through Prime. Again, as I said, I'm flexible. We're reading a lot of classics, so some of those are also available on open source on the internet. So if someone does want to read a digital edition this year, again, I'll be very flexible. Another reason that we do ask the students to try to get the same editions that we use in class, it will just be easier. When we say, let's look at page 31, everyone can flip there and we can see where the text is. Or if someone in the course of the discussion is mentioning something, someone else can say, oh, that reminds me of this part within the novel, but I can't remember where it is. And people can kind of flip to it, and then we can start to try to figure things out that way. So those will be the texts that we'll look at. So essentially what the course is, it is, as the title states, it's AP Literature and Composition. So essentially reading and writing. What we'll do in the course is your sons and daughters are going to read a lot of difficult literature. They're going to look at drama. They're going to look at nonfiction. They're going to look at fiction. We'll do some short stories, poetry, and it all boils down to we need to see what those writers are trying to accomplish through the techniques that they use. We're going to take a more direct, a more critical look at the literature than necessarily just saying, hey, I read Hamlet, and that's it. Now we're going to essentially read Hamlet and we're going to see what is William Shakespeare doing to try to show the corruption in the monarchy in the Kingdom of Denmark, which connects to his time and his life and what's going on with the monarchy of England. So essentially, we'll be taking a very critical deep dive into the works that the students read this semester. The first semester course, I treat it just like a college English class. Essentially, I'm asking the students to read, to write, to discuss, to analyze, and I'll really ask a lot of them. So if we are on Zoom or if we're in person, the wonderful part about literature is it lends itself to any mode of discussion. So even if we're in our remote learning, we'll still be able to have those discussions and still be able to get into the literature. And I'm actually kind of excited. We'll see how this technology works, and we'll see if we can work with it well. Speaking of technology, the classes will be conducted over Zoom. So I'll be asking the students to treat the Zoom classroom essentially as we would the physical classroom. So appropriate use of technology, if we're in the breakout rooms, if we're using chat to answer questions. There will be times where I'll ask the students that the cameras be on for our discussions. There will be time where we'll take breaks from Zoom. But again, it's just something that we're going to have to work with and figure out as we go along. But I really do want to treat this Zoom classroom as almost our in-person classroom is. All right. After that, the first semester course ends and we transition into what's known as AP Seminar. And this is an amazing opportunity that most AP students don't have in other schools. So as our first semester course ends, we pick up in the second semester with a different course. It is a 35-minute class. And what we do in there, we boil it down to two things. One, we will start to really prepare and focus on the AP exam. Unfortunately, right now, I don't know what that test will look like. I'm not sure if it will be like the test from last May, where it was just one essay question. But my feeling is that the test makers are already starting to create a test that will be adaptable to either in-person or to online testing. So within seminar, what I mean by practicing for the test, we'll work with multiple choice questions. We'll start to look at the techniques and the way that questions are asked. What are some tips that we can do to make ourselves more ready to take those types of tests? And then the other part of test prep is we're going to write essays. We're going to critique the essays we wrote first semester. We'll see how those essays will help us to answer the AP questions that your sons and daughters will see on whatever version of the test they see in May. The second part of seminar is, I think, my favorite part of teaching AP. It's an independent facet. It's the part that really is getting them ready for college. This is the senior capstone assignment. This is known also as the senior paper. So what I'll be asking your sons and daughters to do is select another novel, one more thing to read. And they can select off a list I provide, or they can go off of their own if they love to read and there's something else that they'd like to pursue. In the reading of that novel, essentially what we're going to ask them to do is write a literary analysis. But it's not just a simple paper that we've been doing their entire 4 years here at Bay. This literary analysis will require them to utilize research. So they're going to go and do, they're going to use online databases, looking for literary criticisms, looking for essays, what people have been saying about their works already. They'll also need to look at other genres of literature. How do other authors use this same theme that they're seeing presented in their novel in the other modes and genres of literature? They're going to practice drafting, editing, revising, workshopping with their writing. Again, all things that they'll see when they enter into their college classrooms next year. This paper will end up to be a 12 to 15 page double-spaced type paper, and this will hopefully get the students ready to see what kind of writings that they'll be doing within the college classroom. Seminar is a great time. It really is where they get some time to just engage with the literature. Maybe one day it'll be 35 minutes and they're just reading their text, they're annotating, and they're looking to find a theme. Another day it might be they're sitting looking through literary critical essays and looking for something that can assist them in writing their paper. I'll be present in seminar, whether it will be doing the test prep or if it will be doing help with their papers, but I will always be in the room with them or on Zoom and ready to answer any questions or guide them in any way that they need. So I know that's pretty long. I'm trying to not be too long-winded. It is hard, I'm sure, to watch a video instead of a person and even a video where it's pre-recorded. So please, if you have any questions about the AP Literature course, don't hesitate to email. I keep saying email because my phone is actually not hooked up in the classroom yet. So if you call, I will not get your voicemail. Send me an email. But if you do wish to have a phone conversation, by all means, I'm open to that as well. I'm truly excited. I love reading the literature. I love discussing the literature with your sons and daughters. I think we picked a good list this year. We're going to try some different things with our technology. We're going to look at short stories online instead of using some of the resources that we have in print. And it's allowing us to maybe look at a little bit more of a diverse list of authors and a diverse selection of short stories. So thank you again, everyone. Again, I apologize for not being able to attend today's open house. And please, any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much. And hopefully I'll see you in person soon.